Most people don't know this, but Freya and Faye almost certainly crossed paths years before Kratos ever arrived in the Norse lands. The game slips it into one quiet conversation that's easy to miss. Freya believes she met Kratos' wife. Here's the clip. Then let's talk about what it means.
What caused the destruction?
A battle unlike anything I've ever seen. I remember a great clash of metal in the sunlight. Thor, he wielded his hammer, but he was matched by a remarkable axe.
This axe? Did it belong to a fair-haired warrior?
Yes, she was fearsome. I remember her gloved hands brandishing that axe with exacting precision. Never has there been a weapon to match Mjolnir. But with that axe and that warrior, Thor was in for the fight of his life.
It was Faye who fought Thor in this valley.
The gloves and the fair hair. This warrior reminds me of someone.
What is it?
I once knew a warrior like the one he spoke of. She was extraordinary. I never realized that the warrior could have been Faye.
You met Faye?
She sounds like the woman I knew. She didn't carry that axe, but yes. I believe I may have met your wife.
It seems there is much I never knew about her. And now she is gone.
Maybe, but her story here isn't finished.
So here's what's going on. Kratos and Freya just heard a spirit describe a legendary warrior. And the description, the gloves, the fair hair, the sheer skill triggers something in Freya. She once knew a warrior exactly like that. A woman who was, in her words, extraordinary. And she slowly realizes that warrior may have been Faye. Notice she's careful with her words. She says she believes she may have met her. The memory is foggy. Faye didn't carry the Leviathan axe back then, so Freya never connected the woman she knew to Kratos' wife. But the description fits. She is almost certain she met Faye. Think about what this means. Freya isn't just anyone. She's a former queen of the Valkyries, Vanir goddess, someone who has lived for centuries and met countless warriors. And out of all of them, Faye left an impression strong enough that decades later, a vague description brings her back to mind. Freya remembers Faye as extraordinary. That's not a small thing coming from a goddess who has seen everything. It also adds another piece to how legendary Faye actually was. We already know she fought Thor to a standstill. We know she was called Laufey the Just, the golden hand of the Jotnar. And now we know she moved through the world in a way that left even a Vanir goddess remembering her lifetimes later. Faye wasn't hiding in a forest her whole life. She was out there, being the kind of warrior legends are told about. But here's what makes this genuinely fascinating. When did they meet? And why? Faye's whole life was a plan. Everything she did had a purpose. So if she crossed paths with Freya, a Vanir goddess, at some point before she met Kratos, was that random? Or was it part of the plan too? Faye positioned everything, maybe even the people who would one day help her family. And don't miss what Mimir says at the end. Kratos says she's gone, and Mimir says, maybe, but her story here isn't finished.
Maybe, but her story here isn't finished.
That line hit different in 2022. But now, with God of War Laufey putting Faye front and center, Mimir was right. Her story wasn't finished, it was just waiting. So Freya met Faye, a goddess who's seen everything, remembered her as extraordinary, and a throwaway line about her story not being finished turned out to be a promise. The more you learn about Faye, the more you realize the whole saga has been about a woman who was barely in it, and we're finally about to meet her properly. This is Shabby Says. See you in the next one.